Gillette has survived 2 world wars, multiple revolutions, and almost 10 economic crises. It is one of those very few brands that has not only survived but thrived for more than 125 years. The story of Gillette started way back in the summer of 1885 when an ambitious salesman named King Gillette discovered that the edge of his razor has dulled. After becoming frustrated with his dull razor blade, King Gillette claimed later that the idea for a revolutionary new type of razor with a replaceable blade struck him, and that gave rise to the brand Gillette. Fast forward more than a century and Gillette is now one of the most revolutionary brands when it comes to personal grooming. Today, the brand value of Gillette is more than $6.9 billion. One of the most intriguing and fascinating things about Gillette is not only its survival, but the $1 million business model it came up with, which laid the foundation for a few of the largest businesses in the world, including Kodak, PlayStation, Amazon Kindle, and Xbox. So what is this business model and how do companies from very different industries learn from a personal grooming company like Gillette? Another imperative question: if you can also implement something similar for your startup. We are going to cover the story and history of Gillette, its $1 million business model, and how it survived and thrived for so many years, what business lessons you can learn from it, and much more in today's episode of Alphause. Now, before I start the story, if you are interested in similar content like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel Alphause. In particular, we cover free and new business content that is tailored to entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, content creators, small and medium business owners, students, and anyone else who is hustling and dreaming. After you have subscribed, please comment below "I subscribed" and I would personally comment on all those comments. Additionally, you can find all of our business services, digital products, case studies, stories, and resources at alphause.com. It is below in the description, so do visit the website and sign up for our newsletter when you are there. Now, coming back to our Gillette story. The history of the Gillette company dates back in the late 1800s. This was the time in history where the trend of thick beards was becoming obsolete and the fashion of clean-shaven mustaches were on the rise. However, as easy as it is today, shaving was not a simple task back then. It was even regarded as a lethal task because of the options available back then. There were only 2 options available for men back then. The first option was a straight razor, which was a preferred choice, and then there was a safety razor. The straight razors, though being the preferred choice, were quite unsafe as men were reluctant to bring them near their faces and necks. On the other hand, the safety razor, which was a one-time purchase, consumed a lot of time and was tedious because it required constant sharpening for it to get the job done well. The men in the 19th century had one more option apart from these 2, which was to go to the professional barbershop twice or thrice a week to get their faces shaved. Well, one fine day, a traveling salesman ran out of his patience when he was getting late for his work and needed to sharpen his safety razor, which was so time consuming. He was also reluctant to use the straight razor, which was definitely life threatening. And as the old adage goes, necessity is the mother of all inventions, and with this, our salesman had a eureka moment to invent a razor with a replaceable disposable blade that could be thrown away after each use. This was the birth of the contemporary razor blade model that we all know today in the 21st century. This salesman was Mr. King Gillette, whose necessity inspired him to innovate the concept of disposable blades, which eventually revolutionized the men's grooming industry for good. Mr. Gillette worked for the following 6 years to improve his safety razor. He met with scientists and tool makers who were gloomy as well as pessimistic and thought the idea was unfeasible and impractical. Mr. Gillette did not quit. In 1901, he teamed up with William Nickerson, a machinist educated at MIT, and eventually Gillette founded the American Safety Razor Company and raised the estimated $5,000 needed to begin producing the razor, while William Nickerson devised the production procedures to make Gillette's dream a reality. The razor's production began in early 1903. The American Safety Razor Company was then rebranded as Gillette, with the first advertisement appearing in Systems magazine. In the first year, Gillette sold 51 razor sets for $5 a piece and an extra 168 blades for $1 each. In 1904, Gillette was granted a patent for the safety razor. That year, the sales increased to a staggering 90,884 razors and 123,648 blades. With the patent in place, nobody was able to copy their model and style, and because of that, Gillette rose to become a multi-million market leader for close to 16 years. The golden period came to a halt when in 1921, the patent got over and every competitor of Gillette started producing the razor blade model very much similar to Gillette. This put Gillette in jeopardy, and it was reflected within the sales figure, which dwindled by a staggering 20% within the first year. This was a steep decline for a brand that had dominated the global market for more than a decade. In order to prevent the business from failing at this point, a miracle was required. At that time, Gillette introduced a pricing strategy that would later become known as the razor blade model, and it would have an enduring effect on the manner in which the razor manufacturing industry functioned overall. The key idea of the business strategy was to sell razors at a relatively low price with minimal margin, and to sell the blades at a higher margin in order to maintain a steady stream of income from the customers' repeated blade purchases. So, to put it into perspective, Gillette wanted to give their customers the razor and make them come back for the blades. In order for Gillette to be competitive with its rivals, the company began selling razors at prices that were so low that they sometimes even resulted in loss. So technically speaking, razors were sold at a break-even price or even lower than that in order to attract more customers. This was done because as soon as the customers bought the razors, they were now a part of the Gillette ecosystem, and they would have to reach out to only Gillette for the blades. This business strategy was implemented so successfully that in less than a year, the overall sales surged and fostered to 127%. Post 1921, the old way of pricing became obsoleted and the famous razor blade model was adopted, which resulted in a pricing legacy that has persisted for 100 years and continues to serve as a source of motivation and inspiration for a number of the most successful businesses of the 21st century. Different businesses have used this framework with slight adjustments over time to boost product sales in their particular markets. In order to produce long-term profits, companies often sell complementary items at a loss or a break-even and make a profit in the long term. The razor blade business model is also the foundation for the modern freemium models of applications and free games. Products and games are free to download and use, but some extra features, actions or modes may cost money to unlock. This business model can be implemented in a variety of ways beyond just giving away freebies. Recently, we see another strategy for boosting sales and market capitalization is to introduce a new product at a minimal price and wait until the public grows accustomed to and dependent on the product. Losses sustained from initial lowballing can be recouped by adjustment to pricing structures and sales once the product has established itself in the market. To this day, this business model and strategy is taught in top B schools around the globe. In fact, another famous and recognized brand, Sony, implement this till today, where they sell the PlayStation console at a loss or break even and generate revenue from CD sales and premium membership. In fact, after the launch of PlayStation 4 or PS4, they made a loss of more than $50 on each unit sold in order to make billions with the other complementary products and subscriptions. Not only Sony, but its rivals in the same space, Microsoft and Nintendo, use the same business model. Also, one of the largest technology companies, Amazon, uses it for the Amazon Kindle, where they sell Kindle at a break-even to make billions with the sale of ebooks. Having said all that, I don't want to just paint a rosy picture and talk about the successes of this business model and strategy, because as a human, you will learn both from success and failure. So Kodak, which was a very famous and recognized brand in the camera industry, implemented the same business model by giving the cameras at a low or even break-even pricing and making a higher margin from the film rolls. But the same strategy was the reason the company was unfortunately doomed and became bankrupt. Well, obviously there were other factors also involved, but certainly this model was one of them. And Kodak failed to realize the growing needs of their customers when they stopped focusing on digital cameras and stuck to this model. Now, coming to the most crucial part of this episode. What are the 3 imperative lessons you can learn from this business model, and how could you potentially apply this model or strategy to your own business or startup? First and foremost, you need to understand that if you can attract, persuade and lure customers to join your ecosystem, you will always have an unfair advantage over your competitors, because of the fact that an ecosystem invariably results in extremely high rate of customer retention, which is potentially a very huge advantage. Secondly, as you put this business model and strategy into action, you will want to zero in on the spots where pushback and friction are most severe and work to mitigate them then and there. Thirdly, you need to make sure that you do not become overly dependent on this business model to the point where you fail to recognize the possibility of being disrupted, as was the case with Kodak. The irony is that despite being one of the first companies to file a patent for digital cameras, Kodak was so focused on making money from the sale of their film rolls through the razor blade model that they failed to foresee the eventual demise of the film roll as the digital revolution gained momentum. Every entrepreneur and business stakeholder needs to understand that if you don't keep up with the changes, it could even put your company out of business. But if you do, it will give you tremendous and exponential rewards. Also, one of the golden rules of business is to keep yourself in the customer's shoes and see things from their perspective. You might be able to discover something that has never been tapped or thought of before. Pricing, business model and strategy definitely plays a very crucial role when it comes to the overall sales, but I want you to know that every sale has 5 obstacles, and if you find a way around, you're golden. These 5 obstacles are no need, no money, no hurry, no desire and no trust. So there you have it. Keep selling, keep hustling and keep growing. Let me know which business case study you would like me to cover below in the comments, and do like this video to make the YouTube algorithm gods happy. Also, share this video with your friends, family and enemies. Do like and subscribe as it gives us the inspiration to make similar videos. Check out this other exceptional video and the business playlist just for you. That's all for this episode. See you in the next one. Peace out.